Aloha! Welcome to Marriage on the Spot. And as you can tell, we're getting ready for a big event. And guys, hint, hint, if you haven't already made arrangements, it's a little late. But, you know, we wanted to talk about beyond the flowers and the chocolates and the little gifts, there's other things that we need to do to really make our relationship sparkle. Especially this time of the year, where we're thinking about romance and how we can build that up. So we actually went and got a bunch of advice from the great Google, and just some great advice that we've come across. And this is from a couple of websites. One of them is Your Tango Experts, and the other one is and the other one is Family Life.
Family Life
With Dennis and
yes.
Barbara Rainey. So we'd just like to share some of these little golden nuggets of insight that we can use in order to really build up one another and to build our relationship so that it grows and sparkles and shines.
Yeah, and that doesn't have to be only on Valentine's.
That's right.
I like it all year round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And that's the key, right? Is that we need to be consistent.
Yes.
So why don't we start here? One of the first bits of advice is, if you want to have a long and very thriving relationship, is that we have to learn to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable for the part we play in our relationship, how we impact our relationship and our partner, whether for good or for bad.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we need to maybe take responsibility for. So, because I liked what this is from Karen Goldstein, she is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She says, when you are in denial about your part in a relationship, then you are no better than a child flinging sand at another child in a sandbox. And that's such a picture, graphic picture of how we can act out irresponsibly if we're not taking accountability for our behaviors, our attitudes, and our words.
Yeah, sooner or later someone gets hurt.
Right.
And someone might get upset. Mm-hmm. And then all the fun is gone.
Well, yeah.
Until we take responsibility for that. And
then you cannot really build a real mature relationship without accountability. Both sides, right? Okay. The second one is a little more fun because it says research consistently shows that touching more creates a stronger bond by releasing our oxytocin, which is our love hormone, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Holding hands.
Yeah, we like to do that.
Yep. Hugs, kisses, high fives, even bottom pats. Just gotta
Wait,
be.
that's between husband and wife or lovers.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just go around
and
we're
give.
Not just. No. Yeah. Okay. Make sure that's understood.
Yes, and be sure you maybe be a little bit. Maybe discreet about when you do this.
Yes.
But even if it's a quick hug or a kiss, they said extending it out a few seconds can really deepen the impact, right?
Yes.
So what's the next?
Learn to agree to disagree. I thought first when I heard about that years and years and years ago, aren't we always supposed to agree when we are married? And then I thought about my parents, who are very, very different.
Oh.
When they were very different especially in the planning of vacation. My mother liked the mountains. Well, we grew up in Switzerland, so we have plenty mountains. And my father, and basically both of us, my brother and me, preferred the ocean, going down to Italy and swim. So they came to agree to disagree, and one year we went to the mountains, and one year we went to the ocean. And there was no big, at least that I know, there was no problem in planning once they came to an agreement. And so we are glad about having some examples from our parents. We were talking about before, sometimes, you know, it helps when we can look back how our parents did it, or also how they didn't do it. But we, for example,
I always think about the front door and
the back door. How come when you go to church, you go into the front door? Go into the front door, yeah? But when you go out, then it's the back door. And the other day we were at Magic Island, and we drove semi around, and I said, so are we now going in the front of Magic Island, and by the ocean back there is the back, or is that the front of Magic Island? And then you came up with the idea you can drive in circles, so there's no front and back. So we laughed about that, because we have big disagreements. What is the front of the store and what's the back of the store? And we had missed our communication
by a mile.
yeah, when the kids were still just below teenagers, and we told them, we meet you in front of at that time
JCPenney.
it was JCPenney in Ala Moana. Now we parked what I considered the back of JCPenney. We walked through the store, and then we walked up and down Ala Moana inside. On
the mall, right?
On the mall, and then we let the kids loose and said, okay, everybody can go on their own. We meet in front of JCPenney, and that's our thing now all the time. When we're not sure where we should meet, we finally learned to agree to disagree. Well, we still disagree. We explain the front is where we actually came out into the mall, because we were in the mall at that time. So we parked in the back. But your idea...
we parked there. That was the front. Where the car is, because that's the getaway.
So you waited 15 minutes back there, and we waited 15 minutes in front. And we got mad about both of us, each other. And then we really laughed, and the kids said, Mom, Dad, you are fighting just like we usually do.
Yeah, you sound like a couple of kids.
Yeah, sound like a couple of kids. And ever since we have that big saying, what is the front and what is the back?
No, we just have to talk about JCPenney.
Yeah, we say JCPenney, and then we know, we don't know which one is the front and the back. Yes. Where do we meet? Yeah. Another thing is, we have not agreed in 39 years being married next month what we prefer in Saimin.
Oh, God.
I love the Italian way. When they have those noodle soups, they put Parmesan cheese in.
Oh.
It is so ono. Oh. And he can't stand it. And he makes it all stinky with kimchi.
Well, the kimchi is a side dish, but you got to put the little furikake on top there.
So we have never agreed, but we agreed to disagree. That's right. That's what we want to encourage you. No matter how different you look at the world, no matter how many years you're married, you might never come to a conclusion, but just have fun in that each one is unique. We're all unique. And so don't blame each other. No, neither one is right nor wrong, I believe.
Right, and well, just Parmesan. I'm sorry, Parmesan
Oh, it's
cheese.
good. You should try
That's
it. You should try
sacrilegious.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, but you know, and it's sometimes it's not when we're especially giving a gift, and I think guys tend to miss this whole idea. They think, well, okay, if it's a gift, it's got to be something spectacular. I think that's a guy thing, you know. It's got to be something expensive. It's got to, you know, it's got to be the bling. It's got to, you know, it's got to be, you know, have the rims, you know, the special rims or something. You
That's
know.
for you guys.
Yeah, but you know, I think overall, everyone, we tend to, when it really comes down to value, the thoughtfulness, the thought that goes behind it.
Yes, it's not the money, the thought.
Yeah, you know, it's just like, you know, if your child makes, you know, something, and you know, even there may be a little bit off.
Yeah, a little crooked.
Yeah, but they really put effort into it, you know, and they really meant, you know, you know, they really meant it from their hearts, you know, and we have six
grandchildren now. Grandsons. We have no
Right.
girls, only. only.
And
We
I
have boys.
know our oldest, that was one of his things, is that he used to like to draw and make cards, and you know, he would fold it up specially, and he would even make like a, I think he would even put like a stamp. He would
Oh,
draw a stamp or something on it, and he would give it to us, you know, and it was so cute, you know, when he was small.
Eventually, the fridge got a little bit too small for all those pictures,
Right.
and so eventually we had to say, okay, we can only leave the pictures so long on the fridge, and then we have to take it off.
Mm-hmm.
For men, it's understanding the woman want to be listened to.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
You
that's
wanna
one
talk
thing.
about
Yes, I want to
that?
talk. That's another thing, guy. That's another guy thing, right? Because we tend to be problem solvers, right? We don't come and, you know, we won't talk about a problem or bellyache about something unless we're looking for a solution to fix something, right? That's, you know. But women are different. And we've learned this.
Just want to be heard.
Yes, that's how women process
And we connect
stress.
like that.
That's how we connect, right? It's connection, and it's also how they process stress. You know, something that's negative, or even positive too, for that matter. It's the emotional intensity we're talking about. So anything that has an emotional intensity to it, well, you know, women need to process that through talking about it, and they will bring about it.
Yeah, I
bring
heard
it out,
before
right?
that even if you talk to yourself, women talk more often to themselves, maybe when they're doing something, but it helps them. I'm not sure how much I talk to myself. I don't know. Maybe I don't. I'm maybe not a good listener to myself, but it really helps when I can share with you, and you listen. And if I want feedback, I ask. I said, so what would you have done in that thing?
Yeah.
If I don't ask, I just need to connect and let you know.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's the important key for women. They have to understand that men don't understand that necessarily right off the bat. So give us a cue, you know.
Yes.
The other thing that women need to understand about guys is that we need time actually to pull away and to process, because that's how guys process things more, especially if you see that your guy is tending to, you know, he's tending to be quiet, he's trying to isolate. It could be that he's trying to deal with something, and he still has to process it. And it takes guys even a while to understand what's going on internally in themselves. And so they need to pull back. It's not, women can access their feelings like almost instantaneously. They can identify, they can go through. For guys, it takes us time to even understand what we are feeling, what is going on inside, and how I'm, and again, it's we pull back and we will isolate. We'll look for ways to kind of go into our little boxes, so to speak, in order to deal with that. And so, ladies, you need to give your guy a little bit of time to do that. Don't get on top of them. Don't get all anxious and start trying to pull them out of their cave right away. Let them process through, and then look for an opportune time. And usually, usually when he's coming around and he's more, then you can, seems more relaxed. Then you
What is that, when he is hungry and comes
usually,
around?
yeah. And then you can start to, start that process of, reconnecting and trying to talk to him about it. But give him that space. Okay, by giving us, this is through actually Mars and Venus coaching, it says here. By giving him the space to pull away and not taking it personally, you allow him to reconnect with his desire for you and his commitment to the relationship. See, otherwise it's a little bit like pulling a bear out of hibernation.
I never tried that. I don't know.
You don't ever want to. Okay.
But I did learn that when you come home, I usually greet you, if I can, I greet you by the door. I come walking towards you, and then I sense usually whether you just kind of want to be by yourself for a moment because you were with people, clients all day long,
Right.
or whether that's the time you would like to talk or sit with me or whatever.
And guys, same thing, the same rule applies, right? If you've had a hard day and if things are, you're trying to process through something, you just need to have some alone, express that.
Tell your wife,
Yeah.
yes.
So she knows that it's not her, you're not mad at her, or you're not just, grumpy, but that there's something going on. And let her, and she'll appreciate that, and that will, that'll go a long ways towards staving off a lot of confrontations. Okay.
Actually, I saw that also with the kids. When our kids grew up, we went through marriage encounter when they were really small, and we learned to express our feelings. And when they were maybe only first grade, second grade, third grade, that's like this, there were times when I actually told my kids, Mommy is right now upset. I heard some bad news about something or whatever, and I'm very upset. So can you please play a little bit quiet for a while, and then afterwards I help you with the homework, or afterwards we have dinner or something like that. When I would tell them that I'm upset or that I'm sad or that I would angry or whatever, it helps the kids to say, hey, let's not get around Mommy now. Don't make her mad. She's already mad, And I heard that same thing the other day over the phone from my daughter. I hope she doesn't listen. When she said, okay, I'm already tired. I have a test tomorrow. She's in the master's program. I have a test tomorrow, and please don't make so much noise today. I really need it quiet. And I thought, well, she learned something to
communicate
that even with
right.
the kids.
Right.
It
and
works.
don't communicate it with anger. Don't wait until you're stressed out before you start communicating. Do it well before that point you know. Yeah. Okay.
The Dr. Rick Kirschner is a relationship coach, and he says, I really like that too, the biggest waste of effort in a marriage is trying to change your spouse, since the problem you have with your spouse are generally problems you have in yourself. And I thought, oh my gosh. But, you know, it's hard enough to change ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We all trying to eat better or do certain things better or change certain habits, and it's so hard. What makes us think that we can change our spouse? And when we fell in love, most of us married them because we loved our husband, our man, or you, hopefully, your girlfriend at that time. And we loved each other, and we even excused some of the faults we found over the year, maybe before we got married. I knew certain things that you're not on the same page than I, or I'm not at the same page than you. And we excuse it then, and why do we all of a sudden, when we get married, start trying to change it?
Mm-hmm.
That does not make sense. And so we just need to learn, just like before I said, agree to disagree, agree to accept each other, because if we all would be the same, this world would be pretty boring. You know?
Really?
Yeah, we wouldn't have different kind of music, we wouldn't have different kinds of sports. If everybody played football, then we have no skiing, then we don't have ballet, or we don't have any other skating
MMA.
or
MMA.
okay.
Your favorite?
Yeah, right. You can do without it, okay. Oh, the heart just got shocked. So anyway, just accept your spouse the way he or she is, and try to appreciate the differences instead of everybody having everything red like we kind of have today because we're celebrating Valentine's in February. Maybe it's nicer if we have some blue and yellow and green and whatever color, how God made this world. He made the sky most of the time blue, once in a while gray. The sun shines yellowish. And so we have a lot of colors, and we love it. Mm-hmm. So let's love our spouse with all the different
colors.
Colors, yes.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing is, if we have problems, if we experience problems in our relationship, and this is through Elisa Bauman, who's a relationship coach, and she says, see problems as symptoms and treat those symptoms as you would treat a chronic illness that seemingly has no cure. Mm-hmm. So if you're experiencing, say, lack of conversation or boredom in the bedroom, or some kind of resentment has built up between you, you know, don't just let it sit. She says, throw at it every possible remedy you've got, no matter how alternative or weird it seems. Chances are one or more of them will actually work, and your marriage will get stronger and stronger. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the thing is, we need to be responsible, you know, for what goes on in our relationships. And we need to really find ways, you know, and I think both together, you know, find ways, one, to see where our parts, going back to the first, you know, first bullet point, finding where our responsibility in this situation is, and then two, looking for solutions together, you know. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, next time you argue with your partner, don't shame, blame, or be what Dr. Phil calls a right fighter. You know, you need to be right all the time.
Yeah, he asked, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's listening to each other and really hearing each other out without interrupting, you know, the other person, and allowing and really listening with that third ear, you know, that third person ear, I should say, objectively, you know. And, you know, more often than not, there's some valid reasons for what they're going, you know, where their situation, what their position is. And so understanding that will make things a lot easier to come to a good resolution together, you know, and especially it's not needing to be right all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we almost there, but we want to tell you one things we really like to do every once in a while, to take a few days off, 2-3 days, and then it can be a staycation where we don't plan any meetings, where we just taking time for each other and focus on our marriage. And one of those best way to learn how to focus on each other, we found, is through Marriage Encounter. And it's not too early to sign up for United Marriage Encounter. It's unitedmarriage.org. So you can go on the web and you will see, we have it on the screen, www.unitedmarriage.org. And the next of those marriage encounter is September 25 to 27. And we really appreciate if you sign up early, because we are limited to a certain amount of couples coming. We thank you so much for tuning in on Marriage on the Spot. Happy Valentine's and aloha.
Aloha.